Joe, we got a massive Big Ten title game. Indiana, undefeated. Ohio State, undefeated. Going into one of the biggest games of the weekend. Joe, I had somebody ask me if these teams would want to lose for better seeding. Because, being the number one team and you're facing maybe a hot number 8 team coming into the country, would you want to lose the Big Ten game? Because the winner of this one's probably and more than likely going to be the number 1 overall seed. Competitors don't think like that. Competitors want to win their conference. They don't care who they play. We got a knockdown, drag out, massive fight in the Big Ten. You got Curt Cignetti and the boys looking to take their pedestal and be on top of the throne of the Big Ten in year 2. And Ohio State, the reigning, defending national champions, is on their way back to the Big Ten championship game. When you preview this one, how do you see it going down?
Ohio State is favored by 4.5 points over at FanDuel. Blake, I think that the Michigan game, as we stated yesterday, was the clearest sign that Ryan Day and Ohio State are trending in a new direction. I was reading an article today on On3, their Ohio State site, and it was talking about how the energy in the locker room and the building was completely different going into the Michigan game. They were much looser, much more confident, and it showed on the field as we talked about yesterday. I don't think it's controversial or a hot take to say that Ohio State's going to win this game. As much as I have been high on Indiana, and I think that Indiana has been one of the best stories, and I think that Indiana has an opportunity to win a playoff game this year and to go on a little bit of a run, and that they have one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and that, quite frankly, they have the quarterback edge in this game. It's not a significant edge, but it is a slight edge. Older quarterback who has done some tremendous things this season. He's got less to work with at receiver. The overall Ohio State roster is just more physically gifted than Indiana's. And this is not a circumstance where we've got times on film where, they're really talented, but they're not playing to their potential. Ohio State has played to their potential every single week. Even in a close game in week 1 against Texas, they played to their potential. I think this game will be tight, but I have to look at the fact that Ohio State's team is just loaded with talent across the board, and that is where the ultimate edge is. Fernando Mendoza has been the biggest boost to this team. He has been the elevator for this squad, but that only takes you so far, especially stepping into a matchup, going up against a team that's got some really elite premier athletes on their defensive line. Caden Curry, Caden McDonald, Kenyatta Jackson, Arvell Reese. Those dudes are on another level. And when we saw them play against Penn State, who had a slightly less talented group, but a very gifted one, they were able to get after Fernando Mendoza. So, Blake, Ohio State's got to be the winner here based on all that, based on that talent separation.
You're about to hate what I'm about to say.
Oh, no.
Because I know that you are a massive Fernando Mendoza guy, and I think he's a really good quarterback. I do. The 2 most talented teams that he's played, he's had a lot of struggles. A lot of struggles. Oregon throwing the pick 6. Penn State needing the last-second score to go in and win. But before that, he threw a pick to be able for them to tie that game in a very critical situation. This is a different beast. This is a different animal that you're going up against. This is a different secondary. Joey's completion percentage is below 65% against the 2 most talented teams that he saw. I can make the argument that the 3 most talented teams that he saw all year, Oregon, Iowa, and Penn State, all came down to 1-score games. And I thought that there were moments and times and stretches, not games, stretches, where I thought that he looked overwhelmed. I think Ohio State's about to overwhelm him. I think that they're going to send and show things that he hasn't seen. Joe, they went and base man coverage last week. Pro Football Focus puts up that they ran man coverage, just simple man coverage, 63% of the time last week, and the other 30% of the main part of that was cover 2 man. They're going to show him so much shit, Joe. They're going to show him stuff that I think that what I saw a quarterback versus Oregon, versus Iowa, and versus Penn State, that's going to confuse him. And I think it's going to be overwhelming. Do I think that there are going to be stretches that he has some really good throws and he has some really good stretches? Yes. I just think that I've seen enough in those 3 games that Ohio State's going to be able to get after him. I know that everybody says he's a great quarterback. I don't disagree. But I saw 3 teams that does not have the talent of Ohio State fluster him in stretches in critical moments in critical times. I think Ohio State's about to do that again, and they might be able to do it for a game, not just a stretch.
My problem with this take, Blake, is yes, he made mistakes. He had issues in those games. But what did he do after he made those mistakes? He responded.
Mistakes versus Ohio State like that.
No, but I understand that. But, Blake, sometimes it's not just as simple as a guy had a bad throw, he threw a pick. There are a lot of quarterbacks that we see every single year that will make a mistake like that, and they will melt down. Fernando Mendoza has been one of the best quarterbacks in the country this year at responding to his mistakes and improving. He has gotten better when he's had those issues. He threw a pick 6 against Oregon. Game was on the line. He responded. Game was on the line against Penn State
for the touchdown. Their running game bailed them out.
The run game didn't just completely solely bail them out. That wasn't the only thing that bailed them out.
I mean, the pass interferences didn't hurt, but you're not wrong.
I don't like the way that you're kind of like revising the history of the way that his game against Oregon happened and the way that his game against Penn State happened, where you don't want to give him credit for that touchdown throw that he had. Required
it's a ridiculous precision. Catch. Ridiculous catch.
It required precision. He had to layer it over a defensive back. Blake, I think that the kid is extremely talented. I don't disagree with you. I think that we're going to see Ohio State go after him and try to see if they can fluster him. But I disagree. I really don't think that Mendoza is the type of guy that got overwhelmed. I think he's been the opposite. Listening to this kid talk, he knows everything that he needs to do.
Why is he having turnovers in critical moments? You can't do that against Ohio State. That's what's going to get you beat.
Why can't you do that against Ohio State?
Because when you make those high-level mistakes against the number 1 team in the country and the most talented team in the country, they will punch you right back and they will obliterate you. When you play careless football against what the team that you said last night might be the best team in the country, you make some of those critical throws, and I'm not just talking about the interceptions. Critical misses in reference to getting confused in coverage. It's not just the interceptions and turnovers. It's the completion percentage of not knowing where to go or making a bad decision.
I don't like the way that you're throwing that of not knowing where to go. He knows where to go.
So an interview does not.
One of the most. No, it does. I think that it does, Blake. I've listened to a lot of quarterbacks talk.
Okay.
He's one of the most deliberate and articulate quarterbacks in the country.
And then the eye in the sky doesn't lie. And when you have long stretches where Penn State and Iowa, Joe, those are the two of the 3 most talented teams that he faced, and he had long stretches. If you do that against Ohio State, you're going to get blown out.
I strongly disagree. I don't think every game has to be perfect in order to win. I think if he has a turnover, he turns the ball over, Blake. I have multiple instances where he's bounced back. More evidence of him improving than him failing.
No, when you go up against the number 4 total defense in the country, number 2 in rushing, number 14 in pass defense, 4th on third down,
elite defense, obviously.
Hold on. Second in scoring defense. Yes, you got to play damn near perfect to beat a team like this. You do. When you're going up against elite programs with elite talent and a guy that might win the Thorpe Award and Caleb Downs, yes, you do. To knock off the reigning national title winner, you cannot go through stretches like that. I don't care who it is. I don't care. I don't care if it was Jesus Christ Almighty that came down on the manna from Moses and you don't play perfect against a team like that, you're going to lose. You go through stretches in the second and third quarter like you did against Penn State and Iowa, you're going to lose because the overwhelming nature of Cornell Tate, Bo Jackson, not Auburn's Bo Jackson and Julian Sayin will overwhelm you. You're going to have to play perfect. Damn near. I'm not saying he's got to be perfect in completion percentage. You can't make some of those bad stretches in those games and win this football game. You're not going to be able to do it. If they are going to win, he is going to have to play some flawless football. That is what I'm saying. He will have to do that. This is not the team to have bad stretches against series after series. Joe, I could go to the Penn State series where you had an interception, a 3-and-out, a 3-and-out, a 3-and-out. And yes, they had to score there at the end. But you're
focusing so much on the negativity of him in these games. Like he did something miraculous.
Because I don't give two Rudy Poos what you're doing against Rudy Poo Tech. What I care about is listen, you're going up against three tough opponents, and I can see with my eyeballs long stretches of bad decisions. You can't do it against Ohio State or you're going to get beat.
I think that I just really hate the way that you're framing this. Like, I don't think that he's been perfect. I don't think he's been completely clean. I think that he has, obviously, his best performances have come against weaker teams on their schedule.
Of course it has.
But Blake, the kid has responded in every situation that he has needed to.
And you think
that to me is the most impressive trait that most quarterbacks
he won't do it against Ohio State. He won't do it against Ohio State.
He's not going to be perfect. He's not going to. And they're going to hang in this game.
They're not going to be in this game.
I absolutely reject that. I think that you're completely undermining the quality of this Indiana team. Blake, are we just going to ignore the way that they played against Oregon, who's another top team in the country, or is that team just not good to you?
No, he got bailed out with some of those PI calls, and he got bailed out on that pick six. You know it, and I know it.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think that he got bailed out.
You know what? Throw that same pick six against Ohio State. Watch what's going to happen to you. You're not going to convince me that he hasn't had bad stretches. Bad long stretches.
You're framing him like he's Kyle McCord out here. You're framing him like he's some, he can't. It's not like he shit his pants every single time that he's played a good defense.
You got bailed out versus Penn State at the end there with a ridiculous catch.
To say that he got bailed out, I think is
got bailed out.
I think that you're undermining his quality of play and who he is.
A dude jumped 9 foot in the air or 14 foot in the air and comes down with the football, and you'll go.
Had to layer that. He had to layer that over the defensive back. It's getting deflected or picked off.
You got a guy breaking a world record in a jump with pads on, and he comes down with the football with a ridiculous.
Maybe he knew that his guy could jump that high and that was where he had to put it.
No, he got hit. He panicked. He knew he would be in the area, and a ridiculous catch happened.
All right, outside of Mendoza, Blake, I do think that, the separation here offensively, this is going to be one of the biggest challenges that this Indiana defense is going to see. It seems like Smith and Tate are fine as they're coming back into full health, banged up before the Michigan game. This will be the biggest test that they're going to have seen all year. That is where I'm legitimately, where if there's a breaking point, it's not Mendoza. To me, the breaking point is, can the secondary keep up with this receiving room? Can we see this pass rush? Will this Ohio State pass rush and this Indiana offensive line, will they be able to go toe to toe with them? That to me is the bigger side of things. Is I don't really know what to expect in that regard.
Joe, on paper, there's not a lot that they do wrong. Okay. Ohio State isn't Oregon. They're not Penn State. Statistically speaking, and you're going to say this is going back to Mendoza, but just stay with me and let me finish the thought. Statistically speaking, the worst thing that they do on paper is their passing offense in reference to overall yards. You're going up against one of the best secondaries in the country, if not the best secondary in the country. I don't know how they run the football on this team. You're one of the best rushing attacks in the country. You're one of the best. Actually, you're the best team on third down. You're going to have to get Fernando Mendoza and what my opinion is, some manageable throwing situations. Do not abandon the run game. Don't do it. I just don't know if Indiana is going to be able to overcome what I'm seeing from Ohio State right now. If they can't establish 3 yards in a cloud of dust and get him into manageable situations and consistently try to run the football, I think not only does Ohio State win, Joe, I think they cover, and I think they covered a massive feat. I'm going to take Ohio State to win, and I'm going to take Ohio State to cover.
I wouldn't touch them covering because I think that this game could end up being tight. The line's 4.5 on FanDuel, as I said, but we'll see what happens.
Guess we will.